Hey guys, welcome to my channel Stalk My Closet. For today's project, I have taken 2.5 meter printed cotton fabric. And this is the measurement I am using. You can adjust it according to your requirement. I have this side border on the fabric. Firstly, I'll separate it. And while cutting it, I'm leaving around ½ inch for seam allowance. So I've separated the border. Now I'll cut the bodies, and for that I have folded the fabric twice in width. Now I'll mark the measurements. In my measurement, bodice length is 13.5 inch. I'm adding 1 inch for seam allowance, so I'll mark a point at 14.5 inch. Extend this point and cut it out. Now I'll mark the bodice measurement. For shoulder, take half of shoulder width. In my measurement, shoulder width is 13.5 inch, so half of it will be 6.75 inch. Neck width is 3 inch. From this point, mark ½ inch downwards for shoulder slope and join it to the neck width point. Mark half of armhole round, that is 7 inch in my measurement. Mark 1 inch inwards for front armhole curve and join it to the shoulder slope point. Now from the top, mark a point at 10.5 inch shoulder to bust measurement and 14 inch shoulder to waist measurement. For chest, I'm adding 2 inch of ease. In my measurement, chest round is 30 inch. 30 plus 2 is 32, and dividing it by 4, I'll get 8 inch. For bust, again I'm adding 2 inch of ease. In my measurement, bust round is 32 inch. 32 plus 2 is 34, and dividing it by 4, I'll get 8.5 inch. For waist, I'm adding 3 inch of ease. In my measurement, waist round is 26 inch. 26 plus 3 is 29, and dividing it by 4, I'll get 7.25 inch. Join these points. Adding 1 inch of seam allowance. Now I'll draw front and back armhole curves. And with this marking is complete, now I'll cut it. Now I'll cut the neckline. Neck width is 3 inch. I'm adding 1.25 inch for collar. So I have added 1.25 inch to neck width. Neck depth is 7 inch. Adding ½ inch for seam allowance, so I'll mark a point at 7.5 inch. Now measure neck width including collar, that is 4.25 inch, and mark the same point here. Now I'll draw a round shape and I'll cut it. For back neck, neck width is 3 inch and neck depth is 6 inch, adding ½ inch for seam allowance. Mark same neck width at 3 inch. Join these points. And I'll draw a round shape. So I've cut both front and back necklines. Now I'll cut the bottom. In my measurement, bottom length is 33 inch. I've added 1 inch for seam allowance, so total length is 34 inch. I have folded the fabric by half in width, and here I have two lengths, one for front and one for back. And that's it. I'm adding gathered bottom, and for that I just need rectangular piece of fabric. Here I have taken whole width of fabric. If you want less volume or less gathers, you can deduct width from the side. So with this, bottom cutting is complete. Now I'll cut the sleeves. I have cut out the required length, that is 4.5 inch in my measurement, and I have added 1 inch for seam allowance. Here I have 4 layers of fabric. From the top, mark a point at 3.5 inch, that is gap height. For armhole width, divide burst measurement by 4 and deduct 1 inch out of it. In my measurement, burst round is 32 inch. 32 divided by 4 is 8 and 8 minus 1 is 7. So I'll mark a point at 7 inch. Join it to the top like this. Measure and divide this line into 3 parts. This is around 8 inch, so I'll mark a point at 2.6 inch twice. From this point, mark half inch upwards, and from this point mark half inch upwards and 1/4 inch downwards. Now I'll draw back and front armhole curve. Mark half of sleeve round, that is 6 inch in my measurement, adding 1 inch for seam allowance. So I've cut out the sleeves and I'll be adding this border on the bottom, and with this cutting is complete. Now I'll stitch the kurti. I'm adding border on the front bodice, so I'll cut border length according to the bodice length. Place the border on the bodice, leave around half inch of seam allowance on the top, mark the length and cut it out. Now I'll cut another length. So in total I have cut 4 lengths. Now I'll attach the border, and for that join 2 small lengths of border right sides together and make a stitch. So I made a stitch and this is how it will look. Similarly, I'll attach other lengths. So I've attached the border and this is how it looks. Now place wrong side of bodies on the right side of border like this. Just remember, wrong side of bodies on the right side of border. And now I'll make a stitch on the neckline shape. So I made a stitch. Now I'll cut the border in the neckline shape. Make small cuts all around the neckline. And turn the border towards the right side like this. Iron the border and set the crease. So I have ironed it and this is how it looks. Now I'll make a stitch on both sides to secure it. Similarly, I'll stitch the other side. So I've attached the border. Now I'll attach the collar. And to cut the collar, I have taken this pasting buckram. This is on fold. Place the buckram under the neckline like this. Neck width is 3 inch. From the on-fold side, mark 1.5 inch inwards. Now I'll mark the collar width, that is 1.25 inch in my measurement. On the corner, it's your choice, you want to keep it straight or give slight curve like this. And with this, marking of collar is complete. Now I'll cut it. So I've cut the collar. Now place the collar on the wrong side of the fabric and iron it. I'm leaving around quarter inch of seam allowance on all sides and I'll cut it out. I've cut two pieces for one side. Join both pieces like this, right sides together, and I'll make a stitch on these two sides. So I made a stitch. Now I'll make small cuts on this side. Now turn the collar inside out. And similarly I'll prepare the other collar as well. So I prepared both collars. Now place it on the neckline. Pin it up and make a stitch on the neckline shape. So I've attached the collar and with this front bodice is ready. Now I'll finish the bottom. Basting stitch on the top and finishing stitch on the bottom. To make finishing stitch, just double fold the seam allowance and make a stitch on the inner edge. So I finished the bottom. Now I'll make the basting stitch on the waist side. And for that, just select the highest stitch length on your sewing machine and make the straight stitch. So I made a basting stitch. Now pull the bobbin thread and adjust gathers according to the body's waist. Now I'll attach bodies and bottom, and for that place bodies on the bottom, right sides together, and make a stitch on the waist. So I have attached front bodies and bottom. Similarly, I'll attach the back side. Now place the front on the back, right sides together, and stitch the shoulder slope. So I made a stitch. Now I'll overlock it. Similarly, I'll stitch the other shoulder slope. Now I'll attach border on the sleeves. Place the wrong side of sleeve on the right side of border and make a stitch. So I made a stitch. Now turn the border towards the right side of the sleeve and make a top stitch to secure it. So I've attached the border. Now cut the border in the sleeve shape. Now I'll attach the sleeve, and for that place the sleeve on the armhole right sides together. Match front and back armhole curves and make a stitch. Similarly, I'll attach the other sleeve. Now I'll stitch the side fitting seam. And with this my kurti is ready, and this is how it looks. I have added detailing using border and collar. You can also use contrast color fabric. Do share your feedback in the comment section, and I hope you like this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and do subscribe my channel for more such videos, and I'll see you soon. Till then, take care. Bye bye.